What is up guys, Stark here. In today's character spotlight we are taking a look at the Tamamo no Mei caster version. So I'm gonna throw her pictures on the screen right now, and I really do enjoy her artwork. It just, something about it looks really cool to me. But I'm not gonna waste too much time talking about her artwork because I actually really like this character and I just want to talk about her. So I'm gonna throw her stats on the screen here for you guys. So she is a caster, so she will be effective against assassins and weak to riders. And she is a 5-star servant, so she will have really high stats. So at level 90, she will have 10,546 attack, and she will also have 14,259 HP. So obviously, because she's a caster, she will be a little bit more on the tankier side. And if you do decide to go ahead and max her out, she will have 13,544 attack and 17,621 HP. So she's got some really nice stats, and overall, she is probably one of my favorite characters currently in the game just because of her skill set and how you use her. And it just kind of works for my playstyle, although I don't actually have her, which kind of sucks. But then again, I didn't really pull too much for her. Anyway, her servant skills. Her first skill is going to be the Curse EX skill, which will have a high chance to decrease charge by 1 for one enemy. So at level 1 it's an 80% chance, and at level 10 it's a 100% chance. So this is really nice. You can just wait till their Noble Phantasm gauge is, fully charged, and then you can just go ahead and use that to get rid of one, and then that stops them from using the Noble Phantasm, potentially allowing you to kill the enemy before they even use their Noble Phantasm. And you can combo it with other characters like Waver, who can stun, and just other things to go around and just completely prevent the enemy from using a Noble Phantasm altogether. Her second skill is going to be the Morph A skill, which will increase her defense for 1 turn, and then it will also increase her defense for 3 turns. So on the first turn here, you're going to have a 30% increase, and that's the same from level 1 all the way up to level 10. But for the increase for 3 turns, it's going to start at 10%, and then it's going to go all the way up to 30% at level 10. So this is really nice. The first turn you're going to have a basically double debuff or double increase in defense for the first turn, and then you'll have 2 extra turns of 30%, increased defense. So that's really nice. It's going to help protect her and make her survive a little bit longer, because she doesn't do that much damage. She's more of like a support character, but she's really good at it, let me tell you. For her third and final skill, it's going to be the Fox Wedding EX skill, which will increase art card effectiveness of 1 ally for 3 turns, and this will be a 30% increase at level 1, and it goes up to a 50% increase at level 10. And that's for 3 turns, and it's not a self buff, it's just for 1 ally. So you can pick who you want to use it on, and that's really helpful, and it's really good too. And then it can also be powered up later on with an interlude quest, and this will add the effect of restoring HP to that, whatever character you decide to use it on. And that'll start at 1000 HP at level 1 and goes all the way up to 2500 at level 10. So this skill is insanely good, and it's on a 7-turn charge time, and that plays, I don't really talk about the charge times too much, but that plays a really big impact on this character because of her Noble Phantasm, which I will talk about in just a little bit. So we're going to move on here to her class skills. So she's going to have the Territory Creation C skill, which will increase the art card effectiveness by 8%, or 6% rather, and then she will have Divinity A, which will apply damage plus 200. So it's going to give her a little bit more damage, and Territory Creation will help a little bit in gaining her Noble Phantasm gauge. And that's really important for this character. You definitely want to focus on that as much as possible. So moving on here to her Ascension and her skill enhancement materials. So she's going to need some Demon Hearts, and those are all very difficult to get, especially at this point in the game. And I imagine they're going to be just as difficult to get moving forward. And she does also need some pages as well. So you should have a couple laying around for, from past events, but at this point they're still not available in the game, so I don't know, you might not have enough. I don't think I actually have enough. I think I only have 10 pages. Not that I have the character, but if I did, I wouldn't be able to max the center, so I would have to wait for a future event or until they release the story island with the pages available. And then moving on here to her skill enhancements, she's definitely going to be one of the ones you want to max out the most, especially with her third skill. You want to max that out as quickly as possible. But again, you're going to need some pages for it, and you're going to need a lot of pages, so you probably can't get too far to max it out. But you could get it to level 6, and that will decrease the cooldown of her skill by 1. And like I said, it's really important. I'll talk about it in just a couple seconds. but you do want to lower the cooldowns of your skills or any skills you're going to be using on this character's team with. And the other things you need are like the lanterns, the seeds, and bones, which you should have enough of. Maybe not the seeds, but the lanterns for sure. After the Halloween event, they gave out so many rewards, it was ridiculous. So moving on here to her command cards and her craft essence, Noble Phantasm rather. I always mess that up. I always mess it up. She has 1 quick, 3 arts, and 1 buster. And you're going to primarily use her on an arts team. Well, you specifically only want to use her on arts teams, really. You can probably find other uses for her in other teams, but primarily her use is going to be on arts teams. And her Noble Phantasm is arts as well, and this is what I've been waiting to talk about for the entire video. So it's going to decrease skill charge times from all allies by 1 turn, which alone is just ridiculous. And then it's going to restore HP of all allies, and it will also increase Noble Phantasm gauge of all allies as well. So yeah, this is a support skill, but this is a support Noble Phantasm that deserves to be a Noble Phantasm. I've had a few issues with support Noble Phantasms in the past that don't exactly live up to the Noble Phantasm hype, but this one is definitely an exception to what I've been saying before. This one lives up to the hype, and it's really good in my opinion. So you're going to lower the cooldowns of all your skills by 1 for your allies, and that's really nice. It'll help, you know, you reuse skills faster, especially if the skills are maxed and they're on 5-turn cooldowns instead of 7, so you can definitely keep recycling your skills as quickly as possible. Especially if you keep recycling her Noble Phantasm as quickly as possible, you can keep lowering those skills and just do like insane things with teams. And then you're also going to heal your entire team as well, so you're going to heal 1,000 at level 1, and you're going to go up to 2,000 at level 5. So it's not a huge, you know, heal, but if you're recycling your Noble Phantasm as much as you should be with this character, you're going to end up healing a lot as well. And then she still increases Noble Phantasm gauge of all allies as well at 25% at level 1, goes up to 50% at level 5. Now I know most people aren't going to have, you know, level 5 anytime soon, but if you do, that's a 50% increase in gauge of all allies, and you're going to recycle this so fast because of that. So you could just keep spamming this Noble Phantasm if you do max her out, and it's gonna be amazing. And it gets even better too, because you can do an interlude quest to power it up. And that, I mean, it doesn't do a whole lot, it just increases the amount of HP you heal when you do it. But still, you know, 3,000 HP is still a lot if you're going to recycle it. So, overall, this is a, in my opinion, very good Noble Phantasm. And I definitely want to get her. You know, just combo her with Waver, or like Merlin. I know I talk about him all the time, he's not out yet, but just use any other character that also does an AoE increase in Noble Phantasm gauge. Like, if you use her special, obviously I'm talking about it being maxed, and then use Waver, like you're gonna get a 70% increase in Noble Phantasm gauge for all allies in 1 turn. Plus you're gonna lower the cooldowns, so you're gonna be able to spam that. Like if you just use 1 turn of arts attacks, you're gonna get that Noble Phantasm back already. So, and then you can just use it again, and then your other Noble Phantasms will be ready, and you can just keep spamming it. Like, it's just, the possibilities are crazy. And even if it is only a level 1, it might just take an extra turn or 2 to get the Noble Phantasm ready to go again. But overall, it's something I definitely want to get, and it's a really good Noble Phantasm in my opinion. So now let's go ahead and talk about some of the craft essences you can use to help make this character even better. So at level 10 Bond, you're going to unlock her unique craft essence, which will be the Tamamo Club. And while equipped, it will increase art card effectiveness of all allies by 15% while on the field. So this is your generic arts craft essence, and it's not something you should ever use on this character. What you want to use on this character is craft essences that will help increase her Noble Phantasm gauge, so you can keep spamming your Noble Phantasm as quickly as possible. So some of the things that come to mind here, Kaleidoscope could be an option. It's definitely not the best option, but it could get you started on your Noble Phantasm spam by starting it out at, you know, with 80% or 100% if you're maxed. You could start the battle off with her Noble Phantasm, and then that just gets things going. Use your skills first, then use her Noble Phantasm, decrease the cooldowns, and that'll just start, you know, the cycle of skills and Noble Phantasm spam. It's definitely not the choice I would go with, though. I would go with the Prisma Cosmos, which will increase the Noble Phantasm gauge each turn by a small amount, so 8% or 10% if you have it maxed. And that's not a whole lot, but the fact that you're gaining Noble Phantasm with other skills and her Noble Phantasm, comboed in with the, you know, this gain of 10% or 8% or whatever you have it at, it's enough to make it so that it'll just get you over the edge and keep being able to spam your Noble Phantasm. And right now in Global, there's not really too many other craft essences that do something like this. So this is definitely the choice I would go ahead and go with if it was me who was using it. But you could also go with one of the craft essences that we just got on the Halloween event, which will be the Little Halloween Devil. And this will increase your Noble Phantasm gain by 20% and start you off with 50% on your gauge at the start of the battle. So this will kind of work both ways. You start off with, you know, your Noble Phantasm half ready to go, and that increases the gain you get so that when you're attacking you can get more back, and then potentially it might be faster than the Prisma Cosmos. I haven't tested it because I don't have the character, so I can't say for sure, but this could be an alternate to those of you who don't have Kaleidoscope or Prisma Cosmos. So yeah, that's gonna wrap up this video here for the Tamamo cat. Definitely hope to get her at some point in the future. So I will leave you guys here with her Noble Phantasm, and I will see you guys tomorrow.